Here's something nobody tells you. The questions you don't ask before marriage will become the problems you can't avoid after it. It's easy to talk about travel plans, favorite foods, and where you'd want to live. But what about how you'll handle money? What you both believe about gender roles? How your childhood wounds will show up under pressure? These aren't sexy conversations. They're uncomfortable, sometimes awkward, but they're the ones that build or break a marriage. Today, we're diving into the questions that most couples avoid but absolutely shouldn't. We'll cover 10 uncomfortable but essential questions every couple should ask, why couples skip them and why it backfires, a real story from my friend who ignored a major red flag and paid for it later, plus how to ask these questions without making things weird. This episode is for anyone who wants to stop pretending love is enough and start preparing for what's actually coming. One of my closest friends got married last year. They were great together, laughed a lot, supported each other, had chemistry, shared values. But there was one thing they never really talked about: kids. She assumed they'd have 2. He assumed they'd have none. They didn't argue about it, they just never brought it up until a few months after the wedding. And when the topic finally surfaced, it exploded. He said, "I've never wanted kids. I thought you knew." She said, "I just figured you'd change your mind." They're still trying to figure it out, but that one conversation, delayed for too long, shattered the peace they thought they had. There are a few reasons we skip the big conversations. We don't want to ruin the vibe. We think we already know the answers. We assume love will figure it out. Or we're scared of what we'll hear. But psychologist Dr. Alexandra Solomon says something powerful. Avoiding a hard truth before marriage won't make it easier after marriage. It just delays the pain. Asking hard questions now won't destroy your relationship. They'll protect it. Let's go through them. 10 questions to ask before marriage, no matter how awkward. 1. Do we want kids? How many and when? This one's obvious but often skipped. Don't just ask if they want kids. Ask, what age range feels right? How do you feel about adoption or fertility issues? Who's doing the caregiving? What values do you want to raise kids with? 2. How do we handle money together and individually? Money is one of the top reasons couples argue. You need to know, are we spenders or savers? Will we combine finances or keep them separate? Who's responsible for bills, investments, budgeting? Even if things are fine now, habits under pressure matter more than spreadsheets. 3. How do we handle conflict? When we disagree, do we shut down or blow up? Do we use silent treatment? How do we repair? Dr. John Gottman calls this conflict-style compatibility. If you both escalate, it's dangerous. If one avoids and the other chases, you'll burn out. 4. What role does extended family play in our life? This one sneaks up. You need to talk about boundaries with in-laws, expectations for holidays, finances, living proximity. How much influence do parents have over big decisions? Marriage is 2 people, but family always shows up at the table. 5. What are our religious or spiritual beliefs, and how will they affect our life? Even if you respect each other's beliefs, ask, how important is religion in our daily life? What about children's upbringing? Will faith guide financial, moral, or lifestyle decisions? Don't assume agreement, clarify it. 6. What are our expectations for gender roles and household responsibilities? This one matters more than you think. Who cooks? Who cleans? Who works full-time? How do we divide emotional labor? Unspoken assumptions about who does what cause resentment fast. 7. What's your history with emotional or relational trauma? You don't need every detail, but you do need transparency. Have you been in therapy? Are there wounds we should work through before we build something new? How do your past experiences affect trust, intimacy, or boundaries? Marriage doesn't heal you, but awareness can prevent re-injury. 8. How do we manage privacy and independence in marriage? What does privacy mean to each of you? Passwords? Personal time? Space? Do you need time alone to recharge? How do we stay connected without suffocating each other? 9. What are your career goals, and how do they affect the relationship? Ask, are you willing to relocate? Will long work hours or travel be part of your life? How do we balance ambition and time together? Marriage requires alignment on what success looks like and how much it costs. 10. What happens if we drift apart emotionally? Every marriage hits dry spells. What then? Will we go to therapy? Are we committed to repair, or do we avoid? What does giving up look like, and how do we fight for us? It's not about planning failure. It's about planning to protect love when it's tested. How to ask without making it weird? Here's the trick. Don't ask all 10 in one intense sit-down. Instead, spread them out over dinner, walks, casual weekends. Use phrases like, "I've been thinking about something lately," or "Can I ask you a weird but important question?" Or "This might feel serious, but I think it'll help us grow." Let it feel human, not like an interrogation. Watching my friends go through this, I've made a quiet promise to myself. Whenever I feel ready to marry someone, I'll ask the awkward stuff. I won't just fall in love with who they are. I'll understand how we'll live, disagree, compromise, and rebuild. And I won't wait until we're serious, because by the time you think it's too serious to ask, it's probably too late to fix. What's one question you think every couple should ask before marriage? Or, if you're married, what do you wish you'd talked about earlier? Let's build a list in the comments. Someone might read it before they make a huge life decision. In the next episode, Love versus Compatibility, Why You Need Both. We'll dive into how strong chemistry can fool us and why compatibility is often the quieter, more important ingredient in a lasting relationship. Until then,